It's aliens and they're living in your town. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Weird and Whatever podcast. Me and Beckett were having a conversation. I didn't realize it was starting.
Just catching up. Just catching up.
How are you guys doing? You guys have a good Halloween?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah?
Uneventful.
Uneventful?
Was it spooky?
No.
I figured for a dame like you, Vicky, Halloween would be full of quite excitement.
No, I cleaned the dog cage and read a book, and that was pretty much it. We don't get trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood. So.
Yeah, I didn't get a damn one of. I bought king-size Snickers, Mountain Dews on ice, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, king-size, not one trick-or-treater.
See, Florida's
Really?
weird. Did you get a lot of trick-or-treaters?
Didn't get back in town in time, but I really wanted to be there for trick or treaters because I think that's now I'm an adult. I think that's a lot more fun.
Where were you? Egypt by the pyramids? what awesome place?
I was in Mexico, Day of the Dead.
Oh, were you? Okay, very nice. You didn't get any trick-or-treaters either, Vicky? No?
No, we live on 2.5 acres, and I guess kids are too lazy to walk up the driveway.
So when you say acres, are we talking woods?
Well, we have the back part of our property is wooded to shield the sound coming from Hypoluxo. But there's woods in our neighborhood as well that are undeveloped.
We should come out there and film something.
You should, because we walked down the street looking for that Bigfoot creature, and we took recorders a couple weeks ago, and we actually captured EVPs walking down my road.
So when you say that Bigfoot creature, please, really quickly, please tell us what you're talking about, just in case someone missed that.
Right, in case they missed it, one night Bobby Joe was leaving my house. She saw something very large, dark shadow, and it kind of reminded her of an animal, either an alien type thing or a Bigfoot. So a couple weeks later, we decided, let's walk down the road at night and see, first of all, we can debunk it if we can figure out what it could have been, what could have caused a shadow that big. So we decided to take some recorders with us, and we have a boatload of EVPs, including one in Spanish.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, you never think about it. You could totally have a ghost haunting you that speaks a different language.
Yeah, why do they always speak English? You're right. Why don't we have more Spanish EVPs, French EVPs? They have to be out there.
Especially from like historical deaths and stuff.
So the big bombshell, I don't know if you guys got a chance to read any of the JFK files that came out. I figured you would be all over that, Mr. Beckett.
Yeah, I heard there wasn't like anything too huge in
There's
it.
so much huge stuff in there.
Really?
Because I read a little bit of it, and I said the same thing on the KVJ show. I really was kind of bored with it, and then Kevin drops this bomb, pun intended. Why don't you go ahead and take this one, Denny's?
Well, so they released that they were setting up a way to frame Castro in order to start a war between them, which would be like...
Who's that, CIA?
Well, at the time, I think there was a conflict between FBI and CIA. They kind of like butted heads a lot at that time. So there was a lot of like covert operations going on between the two without the other one knowing.
And this one was called Operation Mongoose.
And it's basically, I guess, a documented case of a false flag.
Well, they were talking about, now obviously it didn't happen, and we looked into it. If
Yeah, they
this
didn't
is,
go through with the operation. It was just written out as an operation
as a possible
strategy.
and
To kill our president?
No, it was to bomb Miami and to make it look like that Castro had done it.
They were going to do multiple bombs around the area, killing a bunch of people, and then blaming Castro, and then having the war start that way.
A justified war. Say, look what he's done. I mean, that was an option, and if
They totally considered it.
it was, it's in the print, baby.
I'll have to check that out.
Well, so you being a conspirator, or you being the skeptic of the show, when you hear something like that, and then Denny says something like how the government could potentially be lying to us, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's always eventually released, right? Like it always comes out.
Finally, it did.
Yeah, I mean, 50 plus years later.
And they didn't do it.
They didn't do it, but the fact that it was considered.
That was a considered tactic.
But it's like us at government. Like there's 4 of us, we're on a board, and you come up with this idea. Like,
but who's
dude, what
to
if we
say
had...
through the 50 years that have gone by, somebody didn't go back and go, that's a great idea. We should definitely do this now.
Well, I guess my question is, how viable of an option was this? Was this just some crazy general in the back going, why don't we bomb Miami? And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Was it that kind of option?
They wouldn't have written it out in such great detail. They had it like documented to where they could, in effect, make that operation happen.
I just feel like this, to me, this is big news. Why is not a lot of people talking about it? Unless for whatever reason, we're not getting all the facts on this.
Yeah, I'm going to have to research this.
Well, they still
Please
have
do.
a lot more to release. They only released a portion of the files.
Right.
And they said that next year, by April, they're hoping to release the rest. But they said that 1% of the files will still remain redacted, meaning they will not release those. 1%.
Did you read up on this, Vicky, at all?
No, I haven't. But, it all ties into maybe we're just so desensitized to government being dishonest that we hear something like this and we're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I expect that
Makes
from
sense.
our government. And then you're like, why am I expecting that from our government,
But-
the people that are running everything?
To bomb our own area? To bomb our own, it's crazy.
Well, you
to
got to
me.
realize there's talk that Kennedy was in office to begin with because he had to deal with the mob.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a
you're
lot
not
of
talking
mafia
about
ties.
somebody with a stellar reputation. He had a reputation of dealing with the mob.
And hanging with floozies.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
a
we know
lot
about that.
A lot of documents released in there about him with escorts and such.
And Marilyn Monroe. Okay, does somebody know
Marilyn
this?
Monroe's death.
Was this a rumor or not? Did they have a threesome? Marilyn Monroe, Bobby, and JFK. Was it the two brothers at the same time, or is that?
I heard they both had relations with
They
her.
had, I heard
Okay.
they had relationships with her. In fact, Bobby was there right before she died, and supposedly he was one of the first ones called back after she died to go back to her place.
Okay, but there wasn't no.
I don't think there
menage a
Yeah,
trois
I
going
don't
on.
think they've ever.
That
been
brings
able
a
to prove that.
threesome to a whole weird level.
With her brother?
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
weird.
No way.
Because at first, I remember someone was like, "Oh, can you imagine having a threesome with two twin girls?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's all." I'm like, no, that's weird. Actually,
weird
If you
on
think
their
about
end.
it. Yeah,
It's weird on there. You're like, they're not my sisters.
Yeah. I don't know about, the twins.
I just thought it was and maybe it's one of those things where I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But you talk about bombing Miami not that long ago, that it was considered. It just makes you wonder what other crazy things that you'd go, what the shit is that have been considered or even followed through that we don't know about.
Well, they also talked about the assassination, not to cut you off, about how there's possibly, it was done with two shooters, that there was a Dallas police officer, Tibbetts, who they said was the one who actually killed him.
Oh yeah, I mean it's proven that Lee Harvey Oswald could not have made that shot from where he was.
For sure.
So that conspiracy has been going along. But it's funny because this is either really, really sad or whatever. Like with the incident yesterday in New York,
Yes.
the first thing I thought of is that the government had done it
Well, that was...
in order to stir people up, in order to say, okay, we need somebody like Trump who's going to, go hard against terrorism. That's the first thing that popped in my mind, and that's kind of sad.
Becky, what are your thoughts on that statement Vicky made?
I was just reading about how they were going to bomb and sink a boatload of Cubans en route to Florida.
Oh, you're catching up.
I'm catching up.
You're doing the cliff notes over here.
It's pretty cold.
Vicky's laying it all out here.
But it's an example of the, what you were thinking. That's where I dropped the term false flag earlier. That's where the government attacks itself in order to get people to rally against something.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about a little bit about the crisis actors. When there is a crisis, not saying that the tragedies didn't happen, but to say that they are. Some news stations are bringing
News
in.
stations use crisis actors in order to have on the scene coverage of an event, and they're taking it and they're making up a story essentially and acting as if they were actually at the tragedy.
Possibly making their own narrative. I mean, that's another. Legit conspiracy that's out there.
24-hour news started it all, man. They started getting rated. News is rated, so if your ratings are low, you have to somehow bring them up.
Vicky, you're shaking your head.
Desperation hiring actors.
I believe it, unfortunately. I believe it.
Okay.
I believe it. And actually, this fits into something that I was doing today because Denny's gets so much flack over his, we didn't actually land on the moon thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was going through Netflix, and there's that series called Conspiracy. And season 1, episode 9, was the one about faking the moon landing. And I watched it.
Oh, I'm going to totally watch that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And watching it, I could see the argument that it was fake. Now, they also argue the other side, but the show also goes into the fact that Russia was faking some things, too.
For
And it
sure.
was a race to get there
Humongous
first.
battle. That's your biggest,
We have
antagonist.
all kinds of psychological warfare. I will admit that, and this happens in me in intimate relationships, business things, that I always tend to think the best in people a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So even though I'm a skeptic, there have been times where I'm like, no, that guy would never do that to me, or this girl I'm dating would never do that, and I totally end up being wrong. So
For sure.
So I'll admit that for sure.
I just want to make sure that when I'm talking about this Miami bombing thing, that we got it all correct. I mean, I want to make sure that we understand that was a true option.
Well, this is why I wanted to get details on it, because I looked it up just now, and we weren't dropping an H bomb on Brickell. What they were doing is they were going to go, and it says, and I have an excerpt right here, exploding a few plastic bombs in carefully chosen spots, the arrest of a Cuban agent, and release of prepared documents demonstrating Cuban involvement. Da, da, da. Well, it's still structured, but they're not gonna.
No, I'm not saying they were dropping nukes or missiles or anything like that, but they were creating.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get what you're saying.
They were creating a
rally.
narrative, yeah,
and they could potentially kill people doing it.
Of course, you're talking about explosive. I just found it very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that it's legit, it's real, it's not fake before.
Yeah,
you know.
no, I mean, these were released. I mean, there's more to come.
Don't you think if it was really covert, they wouldn't be writing it down?
I mean, I wonder that too. I mean, if you know that always goes behind the whole Illuminati thing, where you know they're the only ones that really know exactly what's going on. This secret society that they're the top 1% of the entire world and they know everything. Yeah, I mean, do I think things leak out? I do. I think things get covered up for a while too.
Yeah.
Look at the Harvey Weinstein.
Bureaucracy, man. Their foundation is built upon paperwork.
I think the one thing the last 3 months has proven that people who have power, they are protected a lot longer than any average Joe. They get away
For
with
sure.
everything.
That's true.
I mean, any kind of power. I mean, it's so funny with all these stories being breaking in Hollywood. It makes you look up all these videos and stuff. And I was even looking up videos of police officers pulling over other police officers who are hammered and then letting them go because they had that power. They had a badge to say, you know what, if because you're a brother and you get to walk when you would get arrested like that.
Yeah.
Power. It does a weird thing to the human brain.
Yeah, for sure. Even a DJ spinning at a club.
We were talking about that.
He's got power. He controls that room, and he's playing other people's music.
Why do girls want to get with the DJ so bad? All he's doing is playing. He's just hitting play, or a girl hitting play. I don't want to be sexist. This girl DJ.
But yeah, it's just the power, man. Once you got it and people get it, I mean, then you try to push it. I mean, it's like if you get God mode in Doom. After a while, it gets boring. You want the challenge is what it's for.
If you get what?
Like God mode in the game Doom.
Oh, okay. No, we all know that, right? You knew what he's talking about, right, Vicky?
Yeah. Played it last week.
You can't die. So, I mean, there's no fun in it. You're just running around aimlessly.
Don't you think it's better to have power than not? But there are some downsides to it. Like you can't when you have power and you're more in there's a lot of downsides to being a celebrity.
Yin and yang of
absolutely.
everything. And you don't have to be a celebrity to have power.
Right.
I mean, and that was the point of our conversation. Even the landlord, even the head of the HOA.
Right.
The HOA people are dicks because they've got power to screw your life over.
They
Sure.
can. DMV people the same.
I mean, all it
No
takes.
offense to the DMV people.
all it takes is somebody with a little bit of a personality that's a little bit edgier, that has a little bit of a trigger, that says, you know what, I'm gonna flex my. You know, you're not that kind of person. If you have power, hopefully you're the kind of person that's not gonna flex your muscle. Of course, there's people out there with a little bit of edge to them saying, "I'm the HOA, you're screwed, Vicky." You don't have an HOA, do you? Do you have an HOA?
Nah, you're out.
Oh
No.
no.
Okay.
That's the benefit
Never.
of having
I'm
land.
too spoiled. I could never live where there's an HOA.
Would I tell you what to do?
Oh my gosh.
Can't do it.
Oh my gosh! Being in real estate, I have to deal with HOAs all the time. They all form their own.
They have their own rules.
Personalities. There's one in Wellington. I'll leave it unnamed. They make everyone with their dog, even if you're a renter, get its DNA, and it has to have its DNA because if they don't pick up the poop in the thing, they
wanna
DNA
test
it
it.
so they know whose dog it is.
That's pretty rough.
When I first heard it, I'm like, no, that's not true.
I
100%
believe it.
true. It's crazy.
I believe it.
People are crazy.
HOAs, man, they're just, I don't even want to get started.
So just real quick to go around, false flags and actors and the crisis that they're doing, yay or nay? Do you believe? On the fence? What are your
I absolutely
thoughts?
do believe they do stuff like that.
You're a yes, Vicky?
Yes.
You are a yes. Mr. Beckett?
I do, but I always think that, I'm prejudiced the United States favorite, but I always think that we have false flags, and false flags aren't always a bad thing. I think sometimes there's propaganda, like when we were fighting the Nazis, like we had to do certain psychological warfare to counter their warfare. So my point is that false flags aren't always necessarily bad if it's for the right intention.
Well,
Does
I mean,
that make sense?
They probably think it's for the right intention. I mean, they're standing from the mountaintop looking down and just moving Legos, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, to them, they're like, this is a good move for the country or our benefit or whatever their end game is.
I think that our CIA and our intelligence offices, our executive branch, our Congress, and our government says, okay, these guys are cooperating with the Russian government. They have nuclear bombs pointed at us. This guy's a dictator. We have refugees coming on our shores. It's 90 miles from Tampa Bay. We should maybe try and figure out how to overthrow this regime. And I
think it was financial, because they lost a lot of money over in Cuba when he locked them out. Because we had a lot of businesses and a lot of things going on in Cuba when he locked everybody out.
For sure.
They lost all that money. I think it was all about money. They weren't really scared of
yeah,
Castro.
we couldn't trade with Cuba for like ever. So I think it just recently opened up.
Yay or nay, Illuminati? Any way the Illuminati is real? Yes or no? Vicky?
And by Illuminati, you mean just some sort of group?
Conspiracy theories.
People that are running shit.
Some sort of group that's higher, supreme.
I mean, they just know it all. They get it all. It's that.
I
that-
totally think there is.
Yeah, I think there could
each
be.
country has their own.
So do you think it's where it's like all of the Illuminati throughout the world, they're all on the same page, whether there's a representation on the East Coast, West Coast, North Korea, everywhere?
Well,
do you think there's certain leaders and certain people that are in the Illuminati that are there in their own region and they are all on the same page?
Yeah, I think the end game for the Illuminati is a new world order. It would be a brand new established way of running the world. So they would have to work with each other all across the globe.
People think Jay-Z's in the Illuminati.
So
they
say
really do.
It has to come from, you have to have incredible amounts of wealth, I think, would be able to establish the power. People that like run the giant conglomerates of America would fall into those categories.
He had the one album come out, 444, and everyone thinks that's some type of symbol. Do you guys believe in the number game? Every number means something. It's got a spirit. It's got a meaning behind it. Because some people really do believe numbers have its own life force.
They have a name for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told like
Numerology.
444.
Yeah, numerology.
Yeah, 444 is like angelic involvement.
It can be, but some people think it's also, another step towards the old devil.
Yeah, well, usually the devil, you associate your threes because it's the Machina of the Trinity, and 666 because that's
Sure,
the mark of
the
the
mark of the
beast.
beast.
No, people think 1111, you're supposed to make a wish.
Do you
know,
believe
things
in
like
that?
No.
You don't believe in the number game?
No, I'm not big on the number game.
Huh. I see. I could actually see the number game being a real thing.
No.
Hey,
I guess
is
I'm
it
too
math is so
logical.
f-
Well, isn't the universe basically made up of numbers?
It's
when you
very
think about it?
fundamental numbers. They almost make up everything.
I just don't think, because I see 444 on my phone all the time, and I don't see angels flying around me, and I make my wish at 1111 all the time, and none of them have come true.
Well,
so.
maybe it doesn't work that way, though. Maybe there's something else. Yeah, I mean, I think that's more folklore. 1111, make a wish. But I think there could be something to numbers.
24 chromosomes in every human body. Like, there's certain numerology even within biology.
Well, they say, well, and that's what I mean. I mean, it's in science. It's really, it's in music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it is. It's math. It's
For
numbers.
sure. It's
Weather,
geometry,
space.
buildings, everything.
Well, if it's in everything, that's why I wonder if there's a spiritual meaning to it.
Well, that was kind of some of the thoughts behind the Matrix, right? Like the bits. It was all zeros and ones, right?
Ones and zeros, binary.
Well, they say, too, if you are constantly seeing a number pattern, you need to look that up because it might mean something. If you constantly keep on running into 333 or 171717 or whatever, that's somebody trying to give you a message.
Yeah.
Vicky, again, not buying this, huh?
No, I'm just not big on it. I mean, I have recurring, like I always look at my phone again. I look at, it's 1234, 1234.
Yep, I see that one.
But I haven't, found anything. I mean, there was a coincidence years ago. I think I would have been like in middle school when Amityville Horror came out, and the guy woke up every night at 3:15 a.m. Well, middle school went on till 4 o'clock, and I would look up at the clock every day at 3:15 p.m. and freak myself out. That's because I'm sure that my body was telling me, oh, it's going to be 3:15 soon, so you can go freak yourself out. Make sure you look.
Is
you
it possible that maybe with your psychic abilities, numbers may not be your thing, and with another psychic medium,
Absolutely.
numbers could be their
Yeah.
thing?
But you asked if they had meaning for me. No.
Yeah, I just wonder the possibility of it possibly for...
There's because everybody who has ability, they see it in a different way, and it manifests itself in a different way. Mine definitely has nothing to do with numbers. Although I have accurately, when people have come across, they've managed to tell me their age and things like that. So I have gotten numbers during readings, but it's not something that's huge with me.
But when you said the 444, that is an angel type thing where there's,
That's what they say.
That's what they say. They say if you're seeing 444 or 444 or even a bunch of fours in a row, that might be someone trying to tell you something, a message, if
That's
you
what
will.
they say.
That's what they say. But who is they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
who's
Who's
the
they?
The Illuminati.
If you go to Illuminati.com, I think there's like some. You can. So I got.
Or the Illuminati.com gives all the secrets of the Illuminati.
No, it's like almost like a fake site set up that like spies on you. It's weird. But yeah, I got into the Illuminati for a while, and then I got all scared I was gonna get like searched by the government.
Because you were searching.
Yeah, I was like, dude, they're gonna search my IP and see I've been reading Illuminati.
The thing Denny's told me that's horrifying, that I don't like, you could type something on Google or on your phone. Let's say you're about to write something to a girl like, fuck her. Oh, I'm not you say something you don't want to say, like, I'm not saying that. I'm going to erase that. When you put it in there, even if you erase it and don't send it, it's there forever.
They
It's
log
locked.
you. They can
Key
log
login.
Yeah.
Gosh, I never knew that.
Well, because on their
Horrifying.
screen, all it shows is like, I love you, and then when you hit backspace, it just says backspace, backspace, backspace. That's now permanently written there. It doesn't actually backspace what they see. It's just imprinting what buttons you're pressing.
I wonder how many times on the iPhone they've seen the word duck backspace.
Totally.
A lot.
Or ducking.
I did that. I said that to Denny's today. I was like, this about something that happened. I can't believe this ducking shit.
Yeah.
It totally takes the oomph out of your
It
anger.
does. No,
It crushes
especially
it.
if you're in a fight with somebody. I hate text fights because they take so long. Like, son of a
And you have to
bitch.
read it 9
Oh,
times.
and sometimes you don't proofread it because I'm a very emotional texter. If I'm upset, and I'll write it and I will not spell check it, and then I'm like, oh, this doesn't even make any sense.
You like send muck.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
you're right.
changes.
If you said muck or duck, it totally takes out the sting.
It's really intense when you have to type it out in notes first and then copy and paste it into the text.
Have you
Oh,
ever?
yeah.
Have you guys ever been in a text fight before?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Vicky.
Oh yeah.
It gets really passive aggressive.
And, I mean,
But I do take time to proofread mine before
Yeah.
I
Well,
send
because
them out.
you're an educator and you're an
Yeah.
adult, so yeah. Denny's, I don't see you ever sending a mean text
I typically will try not to.
in your career.
But
of
I mean,
a human.
sometimes texts come off like sarcastic or mean, and like I feel like I have to add emoticons or punctuation to like. It's kind of weird. They should almost invent a new quote for like sarcasm.
I'm not talking about sarcastic texts. These would be like something you would know that you're angry with.
Like bitch.
no,
Yeah,
I never
mean,
bitch, but
I don't know. I don't
I'm a big
send
fan of the
any.
voice note. Have you ever seen a voice note to someone?
Or
you
you're
just-
like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Click, and
I
it
can't
sends it.
believe. Oh, hold on, I have to do this again. I can't believe. Oh, shut up. I can't believe this. You have to keep hitting the button.
Or you accidentally send it while you're trying to do something else.
I've done that voice thing on accident where I'm having a conversation and somehow it recorded and sent off as a text. And I told Denny's, oh my gosh, what did we just talk about?
Yeah. I mean, it's something people have to realize. Nothing's for free. Google's not free. Searching something in Google's not free.
Oh, for sure. It's all advertisements.
They're making money by data. Data is a bigger resource
mining.
than oil now. We just read an article in The Economist about that. Like data, like Equifax, you're not their customer. For Equifax, a company like that, you're their product. They're
sure.
selling your data to other people. People don't like, oh, I paid $9.99 for a credit report, or got a credit report for free even.
For sure, everybody's grabbing data now.
Yeah.
It's insane. Well, so the iPhone, I used to have a jailbroken iPhone. I recommend jailbreaking your stuff if you want to try to get your privacy like in check. But I guess, whatever. It could be tampering with your device. Anyhow, so if you go in there, you can opt out of advertisements on your iPhone, but you're not actually opting out of all of them. There's a little clause in there that says, we're still selling it to these 4 companies. So if you jailbreak your phone, you can truly block those advertisers from spying on you.
For people who don't know what jailbreaking your phone is, what would that be?
That's where you put your own software on it so that you're running like a cracked version of the official software.
You're like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory. Remember that movie?
That was good. I don't like the eye tortures though.
Is that the one? Give me back my son.
That's Payback.
Is that? No, it's not Payback.
No, that's not Payback. What is that?
Gosh, what Mel Gibson movie is that? Give me back my son. Damn it. He gets
Ransom?
Ransom. Thank
That's
you.
it.
Oh, yeah, that was
we would
good.
not have been able to move
we
on.
would not.
Don't you think he's disappeared long enough now for those anti-Semitic comments? Like, don't you think he's
been around, actually. He's done a bunch of movies.
He's been directing.
He's been all over Netflix. He's got like 2 or 3 movies out. He still gets good ratings as far as critically acclaimed, but I don't know about his box office numbers. I think you're going to see a lot of people in Hollywood start to feel the pain.
So what are they doing? They just canceled House of Cards? Did you hear that?
Yes, they did.
Well, it was going to end anyway, and then I guess the heat came with Kevin Spacey. And
Netflix just detached.
Yeah, I think more stories are going to come out about Kevin Spacey as well.
Yeah.
Vicky, I wanted to ask you a question. Our intern Thumbelina, or former intern Thumbelina, sent me something really cool. These were 5 paranormal games that open portals for spirits that you should never mess with. Tell me if you've ever heard of any of these games. Okay. And then tell me if you think we should play 1 or 2 of them.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Have you ever heard of Three Kings Ritual?
No.
I'll go through the names first. They're pretty long, so I don't know how much time I want to spend on it, but I'm going to see if you know any of these. How about the Closet Game?
I remember one,
7
but it
Minutes
wasn't a
in Heaven.
paranormal game. But okay.
Wasn't that
3 Kings in the Closet.
7 Minutes in Heaven.
7 Minutes in Heaven.
Did you guys ever play 7 Minutes in Heaven? I never went to a party
You know, that
that
one
had
was
that.
kind of weird at parties. We did like spin the bottle and.
Yeah, did I do Spin the Bottle? Do you ever play that, Beckett?
Yeah, I was so nervous, though.
Oh, yeah. When you're that age and you don't know what...
I was such a late bloomer.
Oh,
I had so many hormones
was I.
going. It's like a crock pot of hormones.
Oh, yeah. Do you play 7 Minutes in Heaven, Vicky?
No.
Spin the Bottle?
Spin the Bottle, yeah.
What's the... any other ones?
Truth or Dare.
Oh, Truth
yeah,
or
Truth or
Dare.
Dare.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely play that one. No, I didn't like that one. That one turned ugly because, of course, my girlfriend at the time turned Truth, and she started talking about her ex-boyfriend and how she loved his shoulders. But, my shoulders reminded her of his shoulders. I was like,
Oh,
what?
my gosh.
This shit
That's why
is-
you gotta always do Dare.
I'm like, you're saying this in front of my friends, baby? What the hell's going on here?
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. No, I always wanted to do Dare. Truth? No.
What? Whoever picks that one's crazy.
I feel like you do Dare on the morning show all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I need that in my off time. Well, how did we get to this with 7 Minutes in Heaven? Talk
Yeah.
about a derail.
he's talking
Closet game.
about
Closet
V3
We were just trying to
Kings
get
or
out of the
something.
closet.
Okay, the other game that you should not mess with, you'll get spirits that'll haunt the shit out of you. This is Elevator to Another World. Never hear of this game?
Who's naming these games?
Yeah, who's naming them? Probably when you describe them, maybe I've heard of it, but the title, I'm not getting it.
One Man Hide and Seek, and the other one was The Midnight Game. None of them. I mean, I've heard of Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
What other ones have you guys heard of?
As far as games, I mean, you can consider Ouija a game. There's
Yeah.
also the one with the cup. You can do the one with the cup.
Oh, Light as a Feather. Stiff.
No, it's you basically put a cup and it's everybody puts their finger on the cup and then you start asking yes or no. It doesn't have the board itself, but the glass will start moving. They used to do it a lot on that show, Most Haunted. They would do that with the table tipping and the glass, and you can actually get it to move and to answer. You say this way's yes, that way's no, and
Denny, do you want to play the cup game later?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it.
I've actually did participate in that one time.
And
I can tell you that glass, we took our hands off of that glass and it moved all the way across the table.
Oh, we got to do the cup game.
Unless there's beer in it and we're flipping it, I don't know if I'm into it.
we got to do it only because we have to bring the people something more than the EVP was great and I love it and it was awesome and I got great feedback. We need to videotape some shit.
Oh yeah.
Let's conjure something
Let's do
up.
Cups.
Let's do Cups.
Let's play that song Cups from Pitch Perfect.
I got my ticket on the run.
That song's kind of a jam, though.
It is kind of a jam.
The chorus is taken from an old, like, 1920 song.
I think that's a remake, that
Yeah,
song.
it is a
The whole
remake.
thing's a remake.
It
All
is.
right.
Maybe
I
that
think
song will
she
make me
changes-
feel a little bit more comfortable playing the game.
She changes up a couple words in there, just for record.
Are we still talking about Cups?
You guys are the kings of tangents.
ADD.
So you gonna describe any of them or not?
Yeah,
You ever heard of
absolutely.
the one finger game? Is that one of the ones, too?
What's the one finger game?
I don't know. I'm just-
So the three Kings Ritual. Was that a sex joke?
No, making fun of the weird names of these games. The Three Kings Ritual.
All right, so the Three Kings Ritual, what they're saying is it's a game that lets you access another dimension. Now, in order to play this game, you need to be alone in a large room. You also need some candles, 2 large mirrors, 3 chairs, and a memorable object from when you were a kid. I don't think there's enough props involved. Once you have everything set up, you leave the room, set your alarm for 3:30 a.m. If the things remained as they were in the room, you continue. Sit in the chair at exactly 3:33 a.m. and hold a candle to protect yourself and make sure it doesn't go off from the fan behind you. Look straight into the darkness.
Supposing you have one.
And don't look at the mirrors or the candle. This is the point where people have felt a presence in the room. Many people said a dream-like state creature will show themselves.
Okay, how many mirrors were there?
A shit ton of mirrors.
And there are mirrors facing mirrors?
Is that a bad thing?
Well, if there's mirrors facing mirrors, then yeah, you could conjure something up through the
Plus,
mirrors.
it looks tacky.
Really? Is a mirror
Mirror facing mirror or mirrors facing like glass doors or windows directly definitely can be portals.
Could somebody be bringing shit in that has a mirror-to-mirror kind of a room, and that's the reason why they have ghosts, just because it's set up as a mirror-to-mirror?
Yeah, I had a case in Jupiter Farms one time. Before we could get there, I just said to her, do you have mirrors facing mirrors? And she said yes. I said, well, I need you to remove at least one of those mirrors in each one of those cases. She had it maybe 4 or 5 places in her house, and just by removing the mirrors, her activity cut in half. So that was definitely one of the catalysts.
I mean, look, I'm down to play any of these games. I know that you guys, I know you guys have some reservations. Denny's, would you play any of these games?
I'll play Cups. I'll play Kings. I'm down for any of them. That one's a lot of work. Is there another one?
Yeah, there's a lot of props in that
Draw
one.
a circle or something.
It's pretty elaborate.
But that one basically works because you have mirrors facing mirrors.
Okay, so the closet game is to summon a demon. I don't think we want to do that one. Elevator to another world. Now this is one where you walk in there and you have to hit a code on the elevator pad. Now the code is 426210-5. Once you do that code, you're supposedly supposed to go to the 10th floor and a woman is supposed to appear. You're not supposed to say anything to this woman. You can't even acknowledge her. She's going to say something to you. You ignore her. You're going to think you hit another code. You're thinking you're going to go down. You actually go up. And then you're into a different dimension.
Oh, yeah, I'll try that one. I'll try that one. We need a bigger building because this only goes to the 5th floor.
You're right. This is not big enough.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, well, I'll try that one.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, I like
We just got to find a big building.
You're looking like
Would it work in
Beckett's looking like what this shit is.
paranormal.
You're not going to put a code in an elevator and seen a woman that easily this whole time?
That's what they're saying you can do.
I guess nobody would ever type that, really.
It's kind of like
It
one of those
says-
trick codes in like Sega.
You say
Yeah.
anyone can play this game. All you need is to find a 10-story building with an elevator. It's important that you're the only person in the elevator.
Oh, see, no, there's no witnesses. Ah,
It doesn't say anything about not recording it.
okay.
Well, how do you get back out of the dimension?
It says you're totally screwed.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, it's like go to this dimension and then there's no like exit strategy.
They're saying the Midnight Game is one of the most popular paranormal games ever. It's usually played for those looking for greater challenges. You know, the people that don't easily get spooked, Mr. Beckett. Now, you actually get spooked easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's once again, it's riddled in the pagan rituals, so we'll stay away from the pagan stuff, right? You guys are...
I'm curious now.
Yeah.
What is it?
It is summoning. It's based on summoning the Midnight Man, and you run breathless throughout your house, avoiding to get caught. I guess he's supposed to appear. It's supposed to. Let me see what you're supposed to do here. This is bullshit. That one's really whack. I'm not gonna even go into that one. So I mean, any of these games we could do. I mean, we can play the cup game. Is that enough for you, Mr. Beckett?
Yeah, I'm into the cup game.
All right, seance, you're good. All
Yeah,
that stuff.
we could do the table tipping with the glass on it.
What about light as a feather, stiff as a board? Is that real? We tried that before, and it did not work.
I don't think people in this room, and I'm including myself, I don't think we can concentrate long enough to be able to do it because you have to concentrate.
Oh, we could totally do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, you
very
could.
mentally. I'm very ADHD. I don't think I can concentrate long enough.
Oh, I'll zone in on it.
It kind of made
You'd
me
have to be the one that's light as a feather. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're like the most chill person, so you have to be the one that's
I
like
love
laid
it.
out.
You're gonna say, Ryan?
It kind of made me think of lucid dreaming. That was kind of my homework, but like we were talking about with like the another dimension. Do you think lucid dreaming? Because I have a friend that says she lucid dreams, and some people say it's BS.
Like they can control their dreams 100%.
Yeah, and
I can control my dreams. I get it.
but they're in like a conscious state.
For sure.
Yeah, they think it's real. They think they're in real life.
It's that
Or they're
in-between.
aware they're dreaming.
For
Like,
sure.
Right? Like,
It's
yeah,
that
you too.
in between before you get to. I typically don't dream much, but yeah,
I have that.
Before your body becomes fully paralyzed and you're like from sleeping, you can still like control for a second, but a lot of people like slip past that phase into the next one. Some people can chill in the one and totally lucid dream. You ever see the movie Vanilla Sky?
I don't think I did.
Tom Cruise,
A long time.
I like
ago.
Tom Cruise though.
Cameron Diaz. You should watch it.
I'll check it out. It's
Check it
lucid
out.
dreaming.
It's got a lucid dream theme to it.
Alright.
You'll like it.
Yeah, there's some times where I'll be in a dream and I can completely control what's going on. I'm like, don't go in that house. I know I'm in a dream. I go, dude, just wake up. It's going to be okay. And there's other times where I have no idea that I'm dreaming. It feels like it's really happening.
If you want to have a lucid dream, get some nicotine patches. Buy like the lowest one. Stick them on before you go to bed. I bet you'll have totally lucid dreams.
Really?
Yeah, you'll
He's-
dream very vividly.
He actually told me that's what I need to do to break my my night terrors. He really thinks
I
I
was
should.
like, put some nicotine patches on. That way you'll lucidly dream during your night terrors and you can confront your fears.
Denny doesn't think I've completed my dream cycle. He thinks once it gets too crazy, that's when I wake up. I haven't confronted or finished my night terror.
You pusses out last second.
I don't puss out, man. I do not puss out. Take
Even
that
in your
back.
dreams.
I'm just saying,
I
last
do not.
second in the dreams, you're like, dude, I'm
I
out.
want to stick around. I can't help it if I'm caught in a fire and there's a dragon trying to eat me.
You gotta get lucid, dog.
I confront that. Okay. I'll try to stay in there longer, Coach. Do you have any homework? Do you want to talk about, Vicky?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that airplane that they claim that it was hit by a UFO.
Yes, it was by I believe it was the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And it was like at 30,000 feet. It was
Yeah.
a Delta jet. And there's like this big, huge dent. And of course, Delta explained it as that they hit a bird. And of course, people were saying, well, what bird did you fly into at 30,000 feet?
There's not many can do that.
Right. There's no feathers. There's no blood. So if you search it, it says hit by a UFO, which actually is very correct. Remember, the definition is unidentified flying object. So there was something, it's unidentified, it was flying, and it was an object, and it dented that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because everybody on the plane was, what the shit is this? They showed the picture of it. It looks like someone threw a satellite in the front of the plane.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the
Yeah.
only other explanation is they said that maybe the air pressure had changed and because that part's not filled with a whole lot, that it just made it collapse.
I mean, they said a couple rare birds could possibly get up there, but it is rare.
In a drone. Drones fly really high now.
They really do. We were working
Yeah.
with the drone. We can't believe how high they can fly.
Those things are dope.
They're awesome, but anybody can get one now. And
I mean, that's crazy.
That
There's
is crazy.
surveillance 24/7.
well, the thing about drones you don't realize is you have really good control of it. So if you were a creeper and you wanted to spy in somebody's window, you could easily do it. Easily.
What do you think about them wanting to play live music on airplanes?
Oh, Southwest is going to do that?
Yeah.
I don't
People
know.
are hating on it.
I don't hate it, but I mean, I guess if you want to not listen to that band,
I mean, they had
that's true.
bare naked ladies on there jamming, and it's like you have to. If you don't want to hear it, you're subjected to it.
Yeah, if I got on a plane and Smash Mouth was playing,
Oh my God.
and I had to hear that shit, I would be so pissed
You
off.
smash face.
Maybe it's conspiracy by Bose. Noise cancellation headphones.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't like that kind of music, yeah, you're right. I hate it. I hate the idea. All right, you turned me. I don't know why I was like, oh, that's kind of
I
cool.
saw that. and
But
I
you
was
know
like,
what's
what?
genius about it? Is that they got people, it's like when we were
Talking about it.
shooting a hot dog into space, whatever we were talking about. That's what they're doing. It's going to go away. But
Oh, yeah.
everyone's it's genius marketing.
Dude, everybody, Wendy Williams fainting. That's another thing just to grab attention momentarily in this world of people looking for things to look at.
Denny's is so fired up about Wendy Williams.
Who's
That
Wendy
shit-
Williams?
She's a
was so
talk show
fake.
host. She's been around forever.
She's a talk show host. Yeah, I mean, she's been
very
around.
popular.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
super popular.
She was doing her monologue or doing something on her show. and
wearing
she
an outfit as Lady Liberty.
Yeah, and she completely fainted live on TV. And me and Denny's weren't buying it. Just because it looks fake, but then people called us assholes saying, she's stroking out, you guys are dicks, starts people who have strokes.
I mean, it just looks fake, and you wonder. And then she comes back in with the same outfit. I would have opened it up a little bit.
It's really fired up, Denny's.
I feel you.
We do have a email that it's pretty heavy, but I figured let's get into it, get your thoughts. I don't think we've talked about it. Maybe we have. I apologize. Hello, Weird and Whatever. I have a short day tomorrow, and I'm a little buzzed. I had this question for a while and thought, what the hell? I was wondering about what you guys think about suicide and what happens to the person after. What about in a case of terminal illness or old people who don't want to face terminal illness to the end? My boyfriend and I were talking about how crazy it would be to have Alzheimer's have Alzheimer's, and I said I would probably want to end it before it got bad. I've had a loved one commit suicide, and I want to believe they're in a better place. What are your guys' thoughts? Stay weird. Alicia. It's heavy. It's a heavy topic. It's controversial. I know there's a lot of religious people that have an opinion on that. And Vicky, let's start with you.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I was brought up that it's the ultimate sin, that suicide is the ultimate sin. All I can do is tell you that I have come across loved ones who have committed suicide in a reading, and they're not in hell.
Yeah, to echo that, I have had other people I've talked with. This is just my personal opinion. This is Vicky's personal opinion, and that's what this podcast is about. Absolutely what you just said, that they're not in hell, that they have found peace. And for the loved ones here on this earth who always wonder that, not to worry, they are in a better place.
Well,
and they're not in hell.
What's crazy about it is, I mean, in that religion, yes, it is a ultimate sin. I mean, you're taking a life that was given to you from yourself. But in Japanese culture, there's if a family member is a burden, if the husband feels like he's a burden to the family, they will go out and commit suicide, and it's an honorable thing there.
Yeah, it's like the samurai; they fall on their own swords.
For sure. And so I mean, that's just a cultural.
Absolutely, and that's what we always talk about: how different cultures have different beliefs, and it's nice to hear different sides of things. Because if you have lost someone to suicide and you're struggling with where they're at, or if they're my heart and soul tells me that they are at peace and they're not in hell. And from what I've felt and from what I've talked to with other people, and just my own personal gut feeling, I don't think that they're in hell, and I don't think that they're a bad person by any means at all.
I mean, just think about it. What if they're suffering from clinical depression?
Sure.
They're not really responsible for their actions. And I know there's some people that are hardcore on this.
They are.
It is the most irresponsible. It's the biggest sin you can commit, whatever. But if you're mentally ill, how are you completely responsible for that action? And these people who want to say that, God said it's a sin or whatever, if you really are mentally ill, God knows you're mentally ill. And he should be taking that into consideration if you do actually commit suicide. So I don't think that this issue is a black and white issue. I think it's one that involves, personal opinions, maybe some personal experience, like on my part with readings and stuff. But I don't think it's the ultimate sin.
What about accidental suicide? What if you...
that's just an accident. And
But you're killing yourself.
Yeah, but I think that's slightly different because that's not...
Well, that's what I'm saying. It fits in with the gray area. It's almost like it can't be a black and white.
Yeah.
It can't be like you get punished for this.
I just, and you see a lot of it on social media, a lot. And it's just a lot of people are judging a lot of other people really harshly without probably walking a second in that person's shoes or in a situation. It's really easy for somebody to say, feel this way or you're wrong. And maybe you might not even experience that. I mean, we all experience this world so differently. We all have our own experience. We all have our own feelings, all of that shit. And it's really hard to say, that's wrong. You're spawned off to hell. Yeah. Look, I'm just a small town kid from Lake Park. I don't know what the hell's going on out there. I just showed up here. But my gut tells me, no, man, it ain't no burning flames.
To me, that's one of the biggest parts of my gift is that I can be somebody else for a few minutes. I can feel their emotions. I can get into their head and in their heart. And I think that's what makes me such an open-minded, forgiving, peaceful, non-judgmental person. Because we all live different lives, and you don't know how you would react if you were walking that same path as someone else.
For sure.
And no one should be standing in judgment, especially not people who are Christians, because he is the one. If you're religious, God is the one who's judging, not you. And even says, judge not lest ye be judged. Sure. So that's what kills me about the hypocrisy of someone who's so Christian, yet they're so judgmental. And that is in complete opposition of what... Look at Jesus. You know, if you believe the stories in the Bible, he didn't discriminate. He didn't say, "Oh, you can't be friends with me because you're a hooker." No, he didn't do that. So how can you?
I think we all have a soft spot for hookers. Right?
So you know what I'm saying? I just don't. To me, it's completely hypocritical.
And it's just not Christianity; it's other religions too. That you know, it's not. I mean, it's. I think the main point, like you were saying, Denny's, is it's different for every culture. Mm-hmm. Even break it down even smaller than that. It's different for every person.
For sure.
I mean, people in the same religion a lot of times can't even agree on the same damn ideas. I mean, it just shows you humans, we're opinionated. We are always trying to say our way's the right way. Mm-hmm. And we should probably open up our ears just a little bit more and say, maybe let me just try to get a little bit of your perspective.
Yeah, open our ears and our minds. Like I look at it like we look at our animals and letting, you know, euthanizing our dog, for example. Like that's the compassionate thing to do. But you have some poor lady that's stage 5 cancer that wants to die with dignity. There's nothing bringing her back, and like she's in enormous pain. Her family seeing her, and like the government won't let her just go out, you know. And you know, like that's like for me, like that's I can't believe that we still do that to people.
If you're suffering from somebody, or I'm sorry, if you're suffering from something and you feel terrible and you have something terminal, how dare anybody tell you how you can go out and that you have no idea what the hell they're going through.
Exactly.
For sure.
I mean, and I brought it up before. My mom, every organ died every single day. I mean, some people, you know, you struggle with, do you take someone off life support so they can die with some dignity?
Right.
You go to a hospital every single day. Oh, you know, the heart went out. The liver's now out. You know, every single day, my mom you felt like, all right, is she not dying with the right dignity?
Right.
And, you know, that's a very... Unless you're in that situation, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a very real and a raw thing.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, the email is talking about, you know, should that person have that right to make that own decision for themselves? Absolutely.
100%. I totally agree.
I mean, why would people be against that? Do people really want other people to suffer until their last dying breath?
Yeah. Well, as of now, 40-some states are against it.
It's crazy. But again, that's just my opinion. I'll get an email, Bird. What the
No, I'm on board with you.
Yeah, and I know we
I feel like people should just, if they want to do something, they should be able to do it. Obviously, barring the terrible things, you know.
Yes, I do know.
If it doesn't hurt, I agree with I think what Denny's trying to say. So long as it doesn't hurt anyone else.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not doing something sinister or terrible.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you want, it's your own life, man. It sucks.
Denny's, do you have any homework?
I do. I was going to see what you guys thought about implementing robots as our judges. They did a computer test with a robot against the lawyers, and they I think they performed at 87% accuracy, where lawyers were down in the 63%. So they're showing that the judges actually perform better.
The judges or the lawyers?
The judges against the lawyers, and then this robot one. So they have the stats up. They were at 66% for human error, and then they were batting at 87% with the robots.
Okay, so you just got busted for drugs, and then there's a judge that's going to sentence you. Do you want a human or do you want a robot?
So that's where the dilemma comes, because you get ultimate accuracy with the robots, but you get no compassion. They can't relate to you. They might not, you know, I've seen a kid like you in this position. You know, I want you to get back out there.
I'll give you a chance, kid.
I'll give you one chance. You won't get that with the robots, but you will get true, you know, unadulterated law.
On the other side of it, if you do get a judge that wants to be a dick, and
say you remind him of a kid he knew when he was younger that he hated, and you're falling in the same lifestyle pattern. He's like, dude, put him in, you know, juvie.
Give him 10 to 15.
So I mean, I think it's cool that we could get this accuracy. Same with like having police officers as robots, like security police officers. All of that, it comes with like a price as well. So
that's everything. The yin and the yang, baby.
I wanted to introduce the dilemma to you guys.
Yeah.
Vicky, do you want robotic judges?
I'm not going to get in trouble, so I'll just try to avoid trouble.
I know how you.
No, I think I mean the thing is,
say something falls out of your purse and the robot pulls up and he's like, "You are littering. That's a $30 fine." You're like, "Well, that kind of fell out of my purse." He's like, "Littering."
Sorry,
Right.
littering. That's the way it is.
I don't know. I don't. I think I would go more, which was surprising, but I think I'd go more with the human because they're able to see that gray area, and sometimes black and white really isn't black and white, and the robot's not going to be able to see that gray.
Did you just call it a robot?
I don't know what I called it.
They call it a robot, and they do that on the
Old
Twilight
school
Zone.
way of saying
Back
it.
in the 50s, they didn't call them robots. They called them robots. I swear to you.
Ooh, I just had a past life thing crossover.
Yeah, you're from the 50s.
I'm from the 50s.
What about
Beckett?
Beckett?
You know, it's interesting because we talk about self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting psychological thing. Like people have, we've talked about this before, but we have a lot more people are scared of flying as they are driving in a car. Although flying commercially is like abnormally, weirdly safe. But people have this big, unrational fear.
Well, I've been in 3 car accidents and I'm still alive. If I was in one plane crash, there's a good chance I'm dead.
Right.
That's why.
But the odds, like you're right. But statistically, you're still more likely to die in a car accident than you by a large amount.
Because
And-
you probably spend a lot more time in cars
right
as well.
Well, yeah, and there's statistics involved. But in, like Tesla and self-driving cars, say that 10 people died a year from self-driving AI cars, right? And then you had 6,000, 10,000, however many car deaths happened from human error. People would be way more freaked out about robot self-driving cars than they would whatever is the normal, way much more. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So we have a judicial system set up, and I believe in this, that we much rather a guilty man go free than put an innocent man in prison. That's how our judicial system is. That's why the burden of proof
For sure.
is on them. And
That's
I
why a lot of
believe on
people
that,
walk.
right? Yeah, it's why a lot of people walk. And that said, if you have a robot putting someone in prison,
Robot or robit?
Ribbit. I just, it's tough because, laws getting rewritten all the time based on new precedents
They're
that are
changing,
happening.
man, constantly, actually.
Yeah.
Especially internet laws. I mean, they literally are changing every single day.
That was untapped, territory for it. It was the Wild West.
It was the 1800 Wild West on the internet. Anything goes. And now, I'm telling you, people are going to start getting shit taken off YouTube. They're starting to get a lot of laws with stuff on the internet.
Supposedly, we're going to get some Internet 2 going on. Yes,
Little racier, more edgier.
Internet 2, what they're proposing is going to be faster. It's going to be a much better system because when they originally made the internet, they had no idea what the hell to use it for. It was used for CompuServe and
Right.
nothing, AOL, sending mail. So it got super convoluted over the years, and the way things work now, we have 10 different formats for posting. You got Java, you got HTTP or HTML. There's 5. There's a bunch of different ones. And they want to create a Internet 2 that's going to be void of all the sleaziness. It's got all the information that we need. It's all fact-checked, and it's a secure internet. And then the Internet 1, the one that we have now, is left behind to be just a crazy void wasteland of where people can commit their sins. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, of course we want it faster. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be Internet 3 after that, too.
It's like the iPhones.
I thought you guys would kind of think that was cool, but
It is cool.
That's cool. What do you
I think Beckett thought it was. I don't know, Bird.
In construction, it's always way easier and less expensive to. Although I love historic things, I love things being landmarked and preserving history. It's always way more expensive to try and fix, expand,
For
build
sure.
on an existing building
Then
than it
it's
is to
just
knock it down and build a new one.
Start over, man.
Yeah.
I get it.
And
Is that
you,
an
and you could build
analogy
a
for how bad my
you could build a
topic was?
you could build a
What's it about? Dude, I'm just reading over here. I'm totally locked into what you're saying. I
Mark
love
my
it.
words, Internet 2, man.
I love Internet 2. I'm going to get an Internet 2 shirt. I love it.
Whatever.
I do want to do a would you rather question talking about planes. Would you guys, these are your only 2 options. You have to take one. If you don't take either option, the world blows up and everyone knows it's your fault. Okay,
Who cares? They won't be live for long, so.
They're spirits, Vicky.
Okay.
A couple judgy people live.
Would you rather fly 24 hours on a plane full of 500 murderous birds riddled in disease? Now, these birds are trying to peck at you. They're attacking you. It's just you in a big-ass plane and then all of those birds. And the disease is filthy. Or would you rather fly 24 hours on a plane with 15 serial killers high on crack who have access to any weapon they want?
Birds.
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 You would want the birds instead?
100%.
yeah.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
an easy one.
That's easy?
Yeah.
For sure.
Explain
birds.
yourselves.
Because I don't know. I'm not really thinking of a scary bird.
What are you guys talking about?
Dude,
Have you ever
serial
been
killers
bitten-
high on crack?
Have you ever been bitten by an ostrich?
Dude, it's awful. But having a bunch of how many serial killers are on that plane?
15 serial killers.
Oh my god.
So here's my reasoning. Hear me out.
Birds.
I've had a terrible track record with birds. Birds are aggressive. They are mean and they can kill you. And for this
This
scenario,
is your name.
So can serial killers.
for this scenario, these are big ass birds and they're real strong. My reasoning is this: you can't reason with a bird. They're friggin' birds.
How are you gonna reason with a guy I crack?
You can sort it. You can try. You can try to reason with a human. Hey man, put the axe down. You can maybe even do crack with them to say I'm in with you. I'm one of you guys. You can at least you have a shot of reasoning with them. The birds, you are screwed if you survive. You leave the plane with blood and disease.
I think you go in the lavatory and lock the door.
No, you can't. That's not an option. No, you cannot do that. No, you are you're confined in that area. You're all going birds.
Yeah, because we
man.
know what the birds are going to do to us, but you just gave us a bunch of serial killers with any weapon at their disposal who are high on crack.
And the guy's
Who
got
knows
an
what they're
axe?
going to do to us?
Yeah, they might not
The
even have
birds
to
are
be serial
limited.
killers.
How do you get through that through TSA?
Look, for this TSA, they were sleeping and they all got all the. It's a Con Air situation, Beckett.
You need to give us a harder one.
I can't believe that one.
Oh yeah, birds all day, man. Serial killers are scary, man.
I didn't
don't know what they're in for.
I didn't finish. The birds also have human hands and they have guns.
No, you just add that stuff. No.
All right, I think it's time to wrap this up. Do you guys have anything else? Closing thoughts on anything we've discussed? Anything to plug or promote? Vicky?
Yes, I will plug congratulations to the Park Vista performers who did a great job at BOA this weekend. And we have our own invitational on Saturday if you want to come out and check one of the best bands, and certainly in Florida, and making their name known throughout the country. Come to the Park Vista, which is called the Striking Cobra Invitational, this Saturday. It starts at 12 o'clock. And Park Vista performers will be on at 9:15 p.m.
Do they ever do the cover song? Can they cover Donkey Butt? Do you know that song? Give me that donkey butt and them big old legs.
I ain't too proud to beg.
Yeah, thank you, Denny. You guys don't know that? You guys don't know donkey butt?
I know. I think I know that.
Oh, Vicky, tonight.
Is that? Please.
Yeah.
Please.
I don't think they
Let me
can't
ride
do-
that donkey.
They can't do that at that age.
What? Donkey? How old are they?
Well, they're high school, anywhere from 14 to
They can
18.
do it in high school.
I mean,
High school they could do it.
I thought ride that donkey was just a dance. Is that what is ride that donkey? Is that a sex thing?
Oh yeah.
100%.
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
But their show is called Acquainted with the Night.
Oh.
So it is basically about Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
wow.
So they can do Jack the Ripper, who murdered hookers, but they can't do donkey butt? I don't know, y'all. A little weird. Beckett, Mr. Beckett, what do you got?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, just kicking it.
Okay, where are you going this weekend? Rio?
No, I'm around.
You gonna stay here?
Guy was gonna think I was such a dick.
No. You guys need to come to our cocktails and karaoke. There's one in Boca.
Tonight?
Is
this
that too
weekend?
far for you? No, not. It's in a
I
couple
think our
weeks.
next one is West Palm Beach.
Are you sure? I don't know.
Oh, wait, I liked it on Facebook, I'll tell you.
I'm probably wrong. Denny's
Why don't you
is-
guys plug the movie? I heard it was great.
I was going to say, from my turn, I was going to say thank you guys for being in our movie.
Thanks
you
for
guys
having
did
us.
awesome.
That was gonna be my closing thought. But thanks,
We had,
Denny.
we, had
Get
a,
out of here.
we had a killer time.
No, you guys did really good. Everybody involved did a great job on the movie. You guys, your parts were very fun. I know they were quick. Only reason why your parts were so quick is because we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
We didn't have much time.
I think your
Oh, you
next
guys are in the
cocktail and
intro.
karaoke is on the 10th, and that's the one in West Palm.
Ah, Denny's, damn you. Why do I try doing dates? Why do I ever try to announce events? I never know shit.
What's the date of that one?
The November 10th is the
Yeah.
West Palm one.
Yes,
I wanna
next,
see- I wanna
not
see-
this weekend coming up, next one.
I want to
next
see
one.
Beckett use them lips and move them hips.
I like karaoke.
What's
What's your go-to?
Probably Third Eye Blind, Summer Charm kind of life.
I think you've said that before.
like a little falsetto.
Okay.
You do that. So, hi.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Fly.
What's that one song? It's Radiohead. High and Dry. That's a tough one to sing if you like that falsetto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Love
a very
it.
hard one by Radiohead.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was reading about the Lake Worth Playhouse. I know we talked about it a lot. Did we ever get approval or not for that? Because the
Dude,
brother.
honestly, to be quite honest, everything has been so on the side because of that movie.
Yeah.
We are just now kind of becoming real people again. We have had zero personal life in the last 6-7 weeks.
Lots
so
of
yeah,
takeout.
we are going to work on all that. I promise. Like I said, November's going to be
Cool.
November, December's going to be a better
I would say
month
if the
for us.
audience has any more recommendations for haunted places, but the Lake Worth Playhouse thing's pretty cool because the brother from the 1920s apparently still.
Lucius.
He's kind of like Phantom of the Opera. He still haunts the place. Yeah, it
Lucia?
is. Yeah,
Lucius?
Lucien or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I heard he didn't really kill himself there, though.
He didn't.
Yeah, but he might be attracted. He's stuck there on a couch. So I don't know. We'll investigate
Okay,
it
cool.
for sure. And Denny's, anything? This is the longest outro.
It is. Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll let you. Let's move it on, right? I was gonna say
Dude, we
Port
got-
St. Lucius, but then I was like, what's the point?
We just officially went an hour, so
Oh, bomb!
Look at
All
that.
right. At producer Denny's, I'm back on it. I'm back on it because I was like, we got locked down with some social media. We had to do a bunch of social media, so I was always on KVJ. But I'm back on the producer Denny's Twitter.
nice. Tweet some shit out, Denny's. I want to hear what you got to say.
For sure.
And
People
I'll-
tweet me stuff. I like that. I like replying.
I'm at Jason Bigfoot. We're going to end the podcast. Thank you guys for all the emails. We will be back next Wednesday. We're all good for next Wednesday?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we love you all, and Bigfoot is real.
What was that? What? What's that sound? It's alien.